All right, so the three main things on tomorrow's test is going to be one, parameter changes, which is reflections, vertical shifts up or down, vertical stretch or compress. The second thing is using slope-intercept form, slope-intercept form, finding a slope, finding a y-intercept. And the third thing is using this new formula, which is point slope form. All right, those are the three big main things on tomorrow's test. Here's the review. So I'm going to do the first page first. It says write the equation of a function g of x if it translates f of x up 6 units. So if it's getting translated up 6 units, that means we're adding to the y-intercept. So I'm going to take my f of x and I'm just going to simply put plus 6 on it. That's it. Remember, shifting something up or down means you're adding to the y-intercept. This one here says write the equation of a function g of x if it vertically compresses f of x by an eighth. Vertically compressed means I'm changing my slope. I need to multiply by an eighth. So I'm taking f of x. I'm not going to put plus. No, I am multiplying to compress it. I'm going to be multiplying it over in the front. 1/8 times f of x. The cost of renting an electric bike for 1 day at Bicycle Company is $55 plus 25 cents per mile. Key thing right here is per. That's how you know where your slope is. How much per mile is going to be your slope? This is where you're going to be writing some things down yourself. How much per mile? How much per mile? Fill in how much per mile plus the $55 that they charged you. So please make sure you fill in the blank with how much is it per mile? 25 cents. You need to put the point in front of it for 25 cents. And it says write an equation for this situation and circle the slope. You need to circle the one that has the x with it because your slope always has the x with it. How does the graph of the function y equals x plus 9 compare to the graph of the function y equals x? How do they compare? Did the slope change? Remember, the slope is in front. Invisible 1 slope. The slope did not change. This is the y-intercept that changed. So if the y-intercept got changed by a plus 9, the y-intercept of y equals x plus 9 is 9 units higher than the y-intercept of y equals x. That looks like the answer. It can't be this one. The y-intercept of this is 9 units lower. No, it says plus 9, so it's higher. It definitely can't be these because we changed the y-intercept, but does not make it steeper or half as steep. Carl graphed a line which passed through the points 8, 7, and 2, 14. What is the slope of Carl's line? Keyword, slope. With these 2 points, you could use stat edit to find the slope. Remember, the slope is m, but if you use stat edit, it's also going to be whatever the a equals. However, you're probably at home, you don't have a calculator, so you need to take this point and this point, put it in here, and find delta y over delta x. Remember, the delta y must be on top, delta x has to be on the bottom. So the change in y, how did 7 get to 14? 7 plus something gives you 14. That will be your top number. Fill it in. 7 plus what is 14? That's your top number. And 8, are we going to add to get to 2? No. That means your bottom number is negative what? 8 minus what gives us 2. So once you have your answer, notice there's only one negative, which means the answer has to be negative. So it can't be C or A. The top number needs to stay on top. Bottom number on the bottom, but it doesn't really matter where the negative goes. So as long as you have your 7 at the top and your 6 at the bottom with only one negative, it looks like your answer. Please circle your answer. Number 6, describe the transformation of the function f of x if g of x equals a fourth of f of x. You have to be careful here. Is this fourth getting added, subtracted, or multiplied? This fourth is getting multiplied. Remember, if it's getting multiplied, that means you're changing your slope. And if you're changing your slope, you are either stretching or compressing it. It cannot be C or D. Remember, if the slope is getting multiplied by a bigger number, that means it is stretching. Stretch means the number is bigger. Compress means the number is smaller. So this is a number that's smaller, so it should be, your compression should be your answer for that one, because it's a fourth times x, which is a compression. Please make sure you're circling the answers. Number 7, Casey graphed this function. F of x equals 10x minus 24. Which function would show a vertical stretch of Casey's graph? Stretch means, we just said it here, stretch means it needs to be bigger. What needs to be bigger? I don't care about that, I care about that. It needs to be bigger than 10x. The new slope needs to be bigger than 10x. Which one of these has a slope that is bigger than 10x? Because the bigger the slope equals the more stretched it is. Uh-oh, am I spelling stretched right? No, I'm totally not. Sorry. Stretched. So remember, the bigger the slope, the more stretched it is. Is this number bigger than that one? We need to find the one that's bigger. Number 8. What is the equation of g of x if it shifts 6 units down from f of x? Okay, this one's different. We need it to shift 6 units down, which means I'm changing the y-intercept if I want to shift up or down. So we took, the new equation is g of x, and we took f of x, and we're shifting it 6 units down. This one, you can use your calculator or you can remember. Moving something up or down means that our 6 needs to be on the outside of the parentheses. Remember, if it's 6 units down from just a regular f of x, we definitely should be subtracting. This one's 6 units down, because this one will actually be up 6 units. This would actually be to the left 6, and this one would be to the right 6. Remember, you can pause the video at any time if you need to slow down so you can write something, but B is the only one that shifts it down 6 units. All right. Number 9, the graph of Josh's miles from home after H hours of driving in the car is shown at the right. Determine Josh's rate of change. This is a good one because there's one exactly like this on the test, and I'm going to give you a hint since you're watching the video. The one on the test asks for a rate of descent, but that's the same thing as finding a slope. Just make sure if the line starts here and it's moving down, that means it has to be a negative slope, all right? However, all of them are negative on this one. So just remember, on the test, it's going to ask for a rate of descent, and that means to go ahead and find the slope. 2 ways to find the slope. You could set up an XY chart and find a couple of perfect points. I see many perfect points on here. I'm going to use 2, 80 and 3, 40 and do delta y over delta x. Or you can simply do rise over run. The only problem with rise over run is, are we actually moving down 2 squares and to the right 1? Down 2 and to the right 1? Look at your scale. Is this really counting by 1, 2, 3, 4? No, it's counting by 20, 40, 60, 80. So technically it's going down 20, 40. So that would be a negative 40 because we moved down 20, 40. However, this one is counting by 1s over 1. Down 20, 40 over 1. 20, 40 over 1. So the slope looks like it is negative 40 over invisible 1. Even if you use this here from 80 to 40, we subtracted 40. Over here, we added 1. Negative 40 over 1 is your answer. Don't forget how it's going to look on the test. That means you still need to find the slope. Number 10, which equation represents a line that passes through 4, negative 2 and has a slope of a half in point slope form? This is the new form, point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m, x minus x1. If you remember what we keep saying in class, there's only 3 things that need to get plugged in. The y1 gets plugged in, the m, and the x1. And it gives you all of the information right here. So remember, and whatever it is here, it's going to be opposite when we plug it in. So y, look at the y is negative, but it should say y plus 2. The m is going to be exactly the same. But when we're plugging the point in, if the point is positive, the piece of the point is positive, then that means I need to have a minus 4 in there. So this was a negative 2 when I put it in, now it's a plus 2. This was a 4, now it says minus 4. And this should be your point slope form. Make sure it's a plus 2? Nope. Is it a plus 2? Yes, but let's check back here. Is it a minus 4? And also make sure you check the slope. This looks like this is the answer. Looks like B is the answer because it has a plus 2 and a minus 4. But double check your slope. It is a half. Good. I just want to give you another hint on the test. If you need to put it in the calculator, remember, solve it for y. If you need to put it in the calculator, that will mean I'm just taking this plus 2 and moving it to the back as a minus 2. The opposite because it's on the opposite side. This is just a special hint for the test if you need it. All right. Number 11, which equation can be represented by the graph shown? This is a good calculator problem. We did one like this in class the other day. All right, so grab your calculator. Make sure you clear it because sometimes people do weird things in the calculator, so clear it first. Then you can look at the graph, press y, look, they're all in y equals. This is good because we don't have to rearrange anything. They're already all in y equals. So I'm going to put my 2 parentheses x plus 3. Yes, I need to put the whole parentheses, then a minus 2. That is a subtraction, not a negative. This is subtraction. Press graph. Does it look similar? Yes, this looks similar. So this could be a possibility, maybe, but I'm going to make sure the other ones are not good. So the next one says 2 parentheses x plus, I'm going to change that to a 4, and then keep the minus 2. I'm going to press graph and see, does that look, yeah, that looks like it could be a possibility also. So I'm going to just put a star. Let me go to the next one. C, negative 2x plus 4. That's where the negative comes in. This is a negative because it's sticking right in front, so that's a negative 2x plus 4. Press graph. Oh, that one is completely different. So I know the answer cannot be C. And then I'm going to press alpha y equals, enter, so I can put in my nice pretty fraction. If you don't know how to do that, please ask. You can ask during the test. Miss Ward, I forgot how to put in the pretty fraction, and I will tell you. But it's press alpha y equals, and then press 4, press graph. Let's see if that one. That one's way too flat, so I'm definitely going to say that one cannot be the answer. We got to check and see which one of these is our actual answer. So what I would do is, and we probably could have done this in the first place, but I'm going to go back and put in this one into my calculator again. And I'm going to actually press second graph this time and make sure the y-intercepts are matching. Is this y-intercept at 0, 4? Yes. So it looks like A should be our answer for that one. However, I'm just going to double check, change that to B, and see if that one has the same. Oh, you see how the y-intercept was 6? This is B. No, B is not our answer because the y-intercept does not touch at 6, it touches at 4. So A is definitely the answer. All right, that was a calculator problem. Now the next one, problem 12, describe the transformation that occurred to the linear parent function. The linear parent function is y equals x, plain old y equals x. And it's saying if they now have a 3 with the x, and they also have a plus 9. What two things happen? The slope was 1, it definitely got bigger. If the slope is bigger, we wrote it over here, look right here. If you didn't write it, look. If the slope is bigger, it should definitely mean more vertical stretch. So we know it can't be C or D because this says vertical compression. No, we need bigger slope. And plus 9, that's a y-intercept. The y-intercept, this y-intercept is at 0. Now it's at a plus 9. The y-intercept went up. Yep, it looks like the answer is B. A reflection would mean that the slope would have to be negative. A certain function contains ordered pairs shown in the table at the right. What is slope of the line that represents this function? You're doing delta y over delta x on this one. So from negative 10 to negative 9 to negative 8, we're just adding 1 each time, which means the 1 has to go on top. The right side is always on top. over here, from -7 to -2, I'm going to draw a number line. This is -7. I need to get to -2. How many spaces in between? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 spaces in between, and I'm getting closer to 0, so I added 5. Bottom number 5. Same thing here, from -2 to 1, 2, 3. How many spaces between -2 and 3? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1 over 5 should be our slope. Do not flip anything. The 1 is on top because that was the delta y. Delta x is on bottom, which is 5. So circle your answer, and please watch the next video for the back page.